Hey, Stone Cousins. You already know what time it is. Animated horror stories. Da-da-da-da. Animated horror stories. Mm-mm-mm. Let's get right into it. Three scary fast food delivery horror stories. The bad delivery experience is what the description said. That's the title of the video. By who? A homie. Which homie? SSG Animation. One of the originals. One of the ones that we stay by. You know? So, let's get up into it. The last time it was cutting up. The last time I think it was SSG as well. It might have been IMR, but you remember that lady that had the menses in her damn basement, them pizza men, because she had already killed her husband, and then she wants to have sex with a pizza man. Y'all remember that? All because she wants to have sex with a pizza man after she kills the pizza man that she was having sex with. So, in reality, you can't be over here asking for other pizza men after you killed yours. You killed the one that you get to have sex with. But let's get on into it. Go on and like the video, please. I'll ask you to do it again at the end, more than likely. And don't forget to grab your blunt, your blankets, a bag of chips, and a bottle of water, please. All right, let's get on into it. What they got going on? I already know it's gonna be crazy.
I am Mason Alejandro, a truck driver, and I do interstate delivery of goods. As a truck driver, highways, late night driving, losing sleep, etc., it's pretty common.
That
Although
are
the company that I work for is nice and
now.
offers us drivers food and proper accommodation between deliveries, it's still a tough job. Not to mention, the responsibility of delivering the items is immense. But do you know what the best and probably the worst part of the job is? It's the things you get to see on the highway, the people you get to meet, and the experience you get to have. Watching the sunrise in a desert in Nevada, driving along the coastal roads in California, carefully balancing my truck through the snow-clad mountain roads in Colorado, and sometimes even driving up to Vancouver to meet Canadian relatives. I have also seen some pretty messed up stuff happening on the road. Cars getting robbed, people being shot, drug deals, murders, and whatnot. I have a lot of stories from my deliveries to tell back home. I have also seen unexplainable things, almost paranormal even. But one particular incident made me rethink my entire career choice. I've been doing this job for the last 15 years, and never have I experienced something so horrific. So, in our drivers community, if something bad happens on the road, we make sure to pass on the details of the incident to all the other drivers, to avoid the same fate again. This happened to me when I was
Had a
a
pizza
novice
man?
in this job. I may have had 3 or 4 years of experience maybe, but not more. Although all the senior drivers and my company's managers gave me instructions and tips on what to do if things went south during a delivery, but no number of tips or instructions could prepare me for what I faced. So if you're a fellow truck driver, or if you drive across the country or interstate, there are chances you might have encountered something called a shoulder walker or moonwalker. Or at least, that's what we refer to them as in our community. These are people who walk along the shoulder of the road, oftentimes miles away from civilization or deserted roads with hardly any traffic. They
Kind
are
of like a
often
rabid
spotted at
animal?
night and never in broad daylight. They are like zombies walking slowly along the road without any particular destination. However, unlike zombies, they are real living people, or at least, that is what I think. But they have a weird, smug look on their face, almost like a scary smile. They never pay attention to any of the passing vehicles, as if they are in a trance or lost in their own world. It's usually a single person, a man, a lady, or even a kid.
Okay, looks like a dance.
And although I had seen these shoulder walkers before, many of my buddies had warned me against interacting with them, so I just drove my truck past them and let them walk.
Why would you try to
woman's shoulder, trying to get her attention. She suddenly stopped
What
walking,
you touch
and her
her
neck
for?
turned 180 degrees to look straight at me. I was shocked and pulled my hand from her immediately.
Yeah, you better
Although her
run.
body was facing forward, her face was looking back at me with the same creepy smile and big, dilated eyes. I was about to bolt and get back to my truck when she turned fully and pushed me onto the asphalt road.
Oh,
I fell on my ass,
you
and
did
all I
that.
could think about was getting into my truck and driving the hell out of this place away from this freaky old woman. But before I could get back on my feet, this woman who looked as weak as a twig had gripped one of my feet. Her grip was as tight as a
Drag
vice
you?
and as strong as a bodybuilder's. She was dragging me with her along the shoulder of the road. The headlight of my truck illuminated my horrified face. I clawed at the
Better
asphalt
hit
road
her.
to get a hold of something to hold on to, but the road was flat. I had to think and act quickly, so I decided to kick her with my free foot. I am 6'4", and trust me when I say I am a built man. I kicked her as hard as I could and hit her square in the jaw. A woman as weak as her would have actually collapsed and passed out from a kick like that. But it barely did anything to this lady. She kept on dragging me. I tried to get out of her grip, but nothing was working. I kept
That's your
kicking,
own fault.
but none of my kicks were hurting her.
That's what you
That's
get
when my
because you
hand
won't
reached
grab
into a
nothing.
handful of dirt by the road. I picked it up and once more kicked her hard in the jaw, as hard as I could. This got her attention and threw her off balance a little. When she was trying to gain her composure, I threw a handful of dirt in her eyes.
Good.
This
Get up and
immediately
go.
made her
Go,
let
go,
go
go.
of my foot. I wasted no time and ran to my truck,
Don't you fall.
climbed behind the wheel, and raced past the lady,
I would have knocked
who
her
was
ass
now
out
staring
with the
at
car.
me,
I
with
would've
dirt
knocked her
smeared all over her
or
face
ran her
and
ass
the
over
freaky
with the
smile
car.
still on her lips. After that moment, whenever I encountered a shoulder walker, they all stared me dead in the eye as I drove past them.
Knowing
It's
that
as if interacting with one of them alerts all of them about you. After
you're known
that,
as the damn
never
dummy.
in my life has anything so terrifying happened to me.
They be looking at him like, look at that dummy that got stopped by Eloise.
Back in the time when I was in my mid-30s, I used to do half deliveries. Now, you must not be familiar with what a half delivery is, so let me explain. Usually when you deliver long-distance goods, be it construction material, oil, food, or anything along the line, the driver usually picks up the item and drives it to its delivery destination. But in a half delivery, one driver picks up the item and drives it halfway to a pre-decided point, and another driver picks up the item from that spot and delivers it to its final destination. This sort of delivery method is less common, but still in practice. I usually drove for the first half of the journey and met the other driver at some of our common meeting spots. Oftentimes, the pickup drivers used to be guys that I knew who had been doing the job for years, like me. We all had 4 to 5 designated routes, and hardly any one of us got to drive on a new route, which was previously assigned to other drivers. But that one day, a big food delivery had to be made on an urgent basis to a route that I didn't usually drive on. It was one of my colleagues' routes, and for the past few deliveries, he had refused to drive on that route.
What's
My
wrong with
manager,
it?
Mr. Clark, was paying me some extra cash just to make the half delivery on time. As for the food, I guess it was some dairy products,
Did he
which
explain
would
to
go to
you what
waste
was wrong?
otherwise. I just returned
Because
from
if
one of
not,
my
then you don't need to
short-distance
go.
half deliveries, so I didn't mind taking this one up. Plus, every extra cent I could earn was going towards my kids' college fund.
Oh,
I spoke to my manager and started my trip. It would take around 5 to 7 hours to reach the halfway drop-off, where the other driver would come to pick up the delivery. Although our company often did drop-offs on this route, it was a pretty isolated highway for the most part. It wasn't that I was afraid or anything, but this route was spooky. With long pine trees lining up the road and no settlements for miles at a stretch, no wonder why my buddy didn't want to do the drop-offs anymore. As I had started the journey around 5 in the evening, it soon started to get dark. I kept on following the GPS, and by every passing mile, I was getting closer to my destination. Around 3 in the morning, I reached the designated drop-off spot. It was a 24/7 gas station, and I was an hour or two early. The pickup driver wouldn't be here for at least the next 2 hours. There were no vehicles
You have to
except my
wait
truck,
for
and the
them?
general store at the gas station was closed. It appeared that it had been closed years ago. I was
That's
hungry,
crazy.
so
About
I
to
decided to
help
munch on the
people
sandwich and
out.
soda I had carried with me. After eating and scrolling on my phone for a while, I decided to take a nap till the other pickup guy arrived. But before I could sleep, I made sure the temperature inside the cold storage was maintained. I checked to make sure the back of the truck was still locked, and I locked the passenger side and driver's side doors, inclined the seat, and slept. It was around 3:20 when I fell asleep. At 4 a.m., I was abruptly woken up by a dog barking. Now, if you've been on the road as much as I did, you know that a barking dog meant two things. One, an animal is around, usually a large predator, maybe a wolf or a bear or something. Or there were shady people around. Dogs pick up the scent pretty quickly and keep barking until the threat is gone. Until that day, I never thought there would be a third reason a dog could be barking.
Oh, what's the third
I was a
reason?
bit dazed at first when I saw the time of my watch. It was still almost an hour till the other guy would be here. The dog was still barking, and with every passing minute, its barking was getting louder and louder, as if he was coming close to my truck. At first, I didn't pay much attention, as I knew if it was barking at an animal, the animal won't be able to get me if I'm in my truck. And if there are some drug dealers or sketchy people out there, I better stay in the truck and mind my business. I didn't even look out my window. I just pulled out my phone and scrolled through Facebook. The dog still barked in the background, but I tuned it out. Sometime later, again, I noticed that the dog hadn't stopped barking. Rather, it was more aggressive now. It was growling and grunting as well. This was when I got my nerve up and peeked out through the glass. And what I saw was stuff from people's nightmares. A man stood maybe 3 or 4 feet away from my driver's side window. He was looking me dead in my eyes, and his clothes were torn and dirty as if he had rolled in the mud just before getting here. His eyes were yellow, and the pupils were unnaturally dilated. But that wasn't the scary part. The scariest part was he was the one who was barking at me for the past 25 minutes.
You alive?
There was no dog. His hair was long, and he looked as if he was about to attack me. He was tall, and his mouth was foaming. My fight-or-flight instinct kicked in, and I just started my truck and drove out of the gas station back to where I had come from.
Weird.
As I was getting out of the gas station, I could see the man running behind me on all fours and barking like a maniac. He even hit one of his hands on the back door of my truck. I didn't think about it. I just left. On my way, I called my manager and asked him to contact the other guy to bail this delivery. Once I got back home, I drove my car to my colleague's house who used to do the deliveries on this route.
And ask him why he
I narrated the whole
shit?
incident, and he looked me dead in the eyes and told me he was a shapeshifter, or many people also called him a werewolf.
Boy,
I was
why ain't
attacked
he say
not
nothing?
once, but twice by that creature, and that's why I gave up driving on that route. After hearing my story, our company completely abandoned that route, and a new route was taken to deliver our food items. I'm glad neither I or my colleague was hurt.
He should have been said something.
Over the past few years, a lot of delivery services have opened doors of opportunity. It's been really convenient when you want something but don't want to or can't get it yourself. Not only does it benefit customers, but it's been an amazing side gig when you want that extra cash. I was a graveyard security guard at night, so during the day, I would make a few DoorDash deliveries. I'm Kenny, and I loved my side job doing DoorDash until I came across this random woman on a street I frequently delivered on. For the past year, this is a woman who works from home and orders from DoorDash frequently. She took full advantage of this service by ordering from anywhere and everywhere. Most of the time, she ordered healthier foods like salads and iced tea. But once in a while, girlfriend indulged herself on Little Caesars pizza. Her name was Alyssa, and she was easily a decade older than me, but I had a crush on her. Delivering to her is a bit out of my way, but one day, I decided to go the extra mile for that bigger buck. That's when I saw her, and I knew the next time this address placed an order, I would be the one to take it. For the past year, we've had an ongoing flirtatious interaction between us. I wanted to ask her out, but I was too damn shy. I swear she was attracted to me too, but I could never work up the courage. I saw Alyssa 2 times a week, and I finally worked up the courage to ask her out. I rang her doorbell, and she answered in her Zoom meeting attire. business on the top, lazy on the bottom. Her hair was up in a slick ponytail, a blouse, and, my God, she usually wore yoga pants, but that day, she had no pants.
Kenny, my DoorDash hero.
Alyssa smiled as she leaned seductively against the doorway. I responded bashfully. Hey, Alyssa, I got your chicken Caesar salad. I held up the bag and her iced tea, and she took them with gratitude in her eyes.
Delivered in perfect condition. Thank you, Kenny. I can always count on you.
You're very welcome, Alyssa. I flashed my signature flirtatious smile at her, and I swear her cheeks turned a shade of pink. You're not seeing anyone, right, Alyssa?
Of course I'm not, silly. Why do you ask?
Okay.
I'm hoping to take you out on a date sometime. She smiled at me as though she'd been waiting for me to say something along those lines.
I'm free this weekend. Pick me up at 8 o'clock. Friday night?
Yes, absolutely. Can't wait.
Until then, you better text me.
I walked away with a pep in my step. I got in my car and shot her a text. She responded with a winky face, and I felt my body warm with happiness.
Okay.
I get a date with Alyssa. It was a Tuesday afternoon, so I had a couple of days to prepare for our date. That week, she was ordering DoorDash every single day. It made me feel weird delivering her food as she avoided talking about the date unless we were texting. I tried not to think of it much, but it bothered me. Even on Friday, she ordered DoorDash and got a Little Caesars pizza with a 2-liter Diet Coke. I found it odd she got a soda as she usually got some sort of iced tea. Even if the restaurant didn't serve it, she'd order it from a gas station in a bottle. I shouldn't have been surprised as she was acting weird since I asked her out. I parked in front of her house as usual, and I pulled up the app to show I had arrived. With fall approaching, I had my windows rolled down in my truck that day to enjoy the oncoming crisp air. I heard a bang on the hood of my truck and looked up to see this elderly woman shouting profanities at me.
Move your fucking truck, asshole. You can't park here, you son of a bitch.
She continued to pound on the hood of my truck as she yelled at me. Ma'am, can you please stop hitting my truck? I'm just making a food delivery and I'll be gone. She walked to the passenger window and snatched the 2-liter Diet Coke out of the seat. Excuse me, that is not yours.
Fuck off, prick. I told you to leave. You can't park here. Now get out.
Ma'am,
Girl, give my
I'm
shit.
just making a DoorDash delivery. If you'd let me get this done, I can be gone. She ignored me, opened the soda bottle, and proceeded to dump it all over my windshield.
Do you understand now? You can't park here and you need to leave.
Stop dumping that fucking soda all over my truck.
Get out of here,
No, you're not even
fucker.
gonna have a date.
She went back
You
up to
just
the
wasted
passenger
your
window.
shit.
Oh, look. It's a pizza.
Roll her arm up
Don't
in the
you-
thing. Roll
She
her
reached
arm.
in and snatched
Why
the
would
box,
you-
and I tried to grab it out of her hands, but she jerked it away. Damn it! I cursed as rage built up inside me. I looked up
Why
to
are
see
you
that
just
old woman
sitting
getting
there
away
and
with
having
Alyssa's
all of
food,
this
and
happen?
I don't know what came over me. I've had to go through anger management before. I started to channel my inner coping mechanisms and took deep breaths. It was a $5 pizza and a soda. Nothing I couldn't replace. I sat there gripping my steering wheel.
Don't hit her with
DoorDash is how I paid for this damn truck, and
Don't hit her
I
with
was
the
not
car.
about to let myself screw it up with my rage. I sat there, seeing nothing but red, trying to change my thinking and calm myself down, when suddenly a slice of pizza hit the windshield. I jerked in response to being startled and saw the cheese, pepperoni, and sauce oozing slowly down the windshield. Next thing I knew, a slice of pizza hit me square in the face. It was still very hot, and it boiled against my skin. I screamed out in pain as I shook off the pizza and peeled the cheese away from my cheek. I looked over and rolled up my window in time before another slice collided with me. That old bat was back harassing me. I told you to leave. That had done it for me. I don't know who this psycho, wrinkly bitch thought she was, but I'd had enough, and nothing was going to hold me back from showing this old biddy that she was messing with the wrong guy. I put my truck into drive and peeled out after her. She screamed at the top of her lungs and dropped the pizza, running as fast as her frail legs could carry her. I revved up my engine as I rammed my truck into her. Her body flew up onto the hood of my truck and hit the roof, rolling back down and hitting the ground. The cracking sound of bones shattering echoed through the street. You wanted me to leave? You just got your way, you crazy old bat! I could hear her screaming out in pain as I put my truck in reverse and ran over her again.
Ugh.
Her flesh squelched under my tires as I
How is
dismembered
it
her.
possible the devil
I put the truck in drive and went to run her over again. But this time, another body flew up over my truck and landed with a crashing thud on the pavement.
Oh!
I heard a familiar
You hit
voice
your
scream out,
date,
and I
bro.
put the truck in park, getting out. I ran to the person lying on the
Is that her
ground,
mom?
Alyssa. Blood was sputtering out of her mouth, and she was choking.
That's her
Oh
mom.
my God.
Huh?
What have I done? I grabbed my phone and called an ambulance. I knelt down and cradled her head
What
in
would
my
you
lap.
say?
Alyssa, I'm so sorry.
Kenny? You just killed my Aunt Faye.
That was your aunt?
I'm sorry. She was crazy.
My vision began to blur. The girl I'd been chasing for a year was now dying in my lap next to her aunt that I single-handedly turned into roadkill.
Crazy.
Alyssa was gone by the time the ambulance arrived, and I was arrested on the spot.
Duh.
It's
You done
not
killed
that I
two
won't do
people.
DoorDash anymore. It's that I can't.
Boy, shut up. You
If
in
you're
jail.
wondering if I regret my choices, I don't.
Nah.
that wasn't the first time I've killed doing a DoorDash delivery. They've yet to find
Boy.
out about the others. I knew Alyssa was slipping her aunt some food, which she personally asked me to slip some poison into to drive her to the point of insanity.
Oh.
I never intended to run over her, but collateral damage happens. Next time you trust a family member to order DoorDash for you, I recommend you double check your food.
Oh.
You never know what someone's true intentions are, even if you think you know them.
Oh. So Alyssa, y'all, Alyssa was trying to kill her auntie already. That you see, so it wasn't even. Oh, y'all know I love a twist. Y'all know I love a good twist. She was having him throw some poison in our auntie food. She came out tweaking, being a bitch. He ran her over. Hit Alyssa ass too. She came out. Now they both dead, and he in jail. Oh, that's my favorite. Let me know which one is your favorites. Y'all know I love me a good twist. So anything that has a good twist at the end, it will automatically get brownie points with me. So make sure to comment which one was your favorite. If you're not already, please subscribe. Why wouldn't you? We're family. If you want to join somewhere where you can watch me live, hit my Twitch up. And until next time, you guys, I love you. Bye.